Hey, welcome in. Looks like we're live. Michael here. I'm going to be talking briefly on site structure in general for SEO, affiliate sites. I wanted to cover this yesterday. It is now Saturday, March 13th, 2021. And, let me know in the comments if you're here on the live. Give me something like a hashtag live replay. Give me a hashtag team replay. And at any moment in time, you can feel free to leave me a comment. I will get to you accordingly. If not the live, then thereafter. So I wanted to get into it. I have another tab opened. I'll be sharing the screen in just a moment. But I want to start off with a quick story about myself when it comes to having site structure for your blog slash website, YouTube channel, social media profiles, etc. I remember when I was working at my 9 to 5 job, I was working in part of the logistics industry. So I was managing budgets, inventory. I was on the desk. I was getting up, moving media material. I was helping out HP at the time, part of Peace Health. There was 3 floors. At the very top, you have Peace Health. In the middle, you had HP, and then at the bottom was us. And you can kind of picture this being like a dungeon-like looking area where the lights were very bright, yet they were so dimmed. And if you took a look to the left, you could see people walking up and down by the media centers, by us. There were 3 of us working in this cohesive bottom area where there was many people as well in their own cubicles, doing their own part of the work, their own department. And if you look at the bottom, you can see this brown looking floor, just kind of almost like it was running majestically. And it was like there were cracks on there, and it was just brown as ever. And, you have this light in the brown floor, and this cubicle that I was now in didn't have it in the beginning, but with some movements, we had it. And now there are 4 desks in each corner, and I'm feeling like I'm very suffocated. I'm very closed and confined by this, call it a cubicle, if you will. 15 by 15. It was really small, to be honest with you. And, I felt like it was like a wall concaving on me. And I knew at the time that the company was starting to go a little down under, and they were going to be taken over by another company. I won't say the name, but we all had a meeting about it. And then when the new company came aboard, then we all had another meeting, right? The whole meeting thing in the whole conference room area. Anyways, so, I'm sitting in this cubicle one day having lunch. Okay, they have the refrigerator there. I grabbed my lunch bag. It was in a blue lunch bag. And then I went over to my desk. My coworkers were out for lunch, and I stayed in my cubicle this day. I had a sandwich, salad, nothing special. And so that's when I, was just sitting in there, and then I saw my text, or it was an actual Snapchat, the social media app. I got a message from an old friend of mine that I hadn't seen in some time, and I was kind of curious to what he was responding to. So I opened up the message, and it was about the meal that I had the night before for dinner. I had teriyaki chicken, and he was just complimenting it. And then we just got into a conversation, asking him what he was doing and all this. And so this kind of led up into, short story. He kind of led up into that whole affiliate marketing, making money online, digital agency, the whole digital marketing side. And so, once I really got my foot in, not to give the whole story, but once I got my foot in and understanding how this was all working, and I started watching videos like you have, and I started going through posts, trying to see what I can do, then that's when I really put the game plan together. That's when I really started to understand, look, I need to have some form of a structure, not only in my life, but in this business that I'm going to be embarking in. And so, you first have to look at yourself and ask yourself, where's my structure at? Because that will be on full display when you go and create your YouTube, you go and do the whole blog. if what you have inside of you is wrecked, if what you have is disorganized, that's going to portray on to your business. And so really what I started to do when I was sitting in this cubicle, call it what you will, I shouldn't have been the computer in front of me, the desktop. And there I was mind mapping. Literally, I was going through, I think, Bubble.io, one of those apps, Draw.io. I still have it to this day, but I was in there putting the pieces together, my categories of my site structure, trying to understand like how will this health and wellness website look like, right? And I didn't have a great picture of it, but I just knew from what I was already learning online, like I'm going to pull in one category for supplements here, one for mattresses here, one for some kind of a cream topical category here. And then I was going to start siloing them, pretty much meaning I was going to start siphoning from the very top hierarchy, okay? The hierarchy. That's going to be my supplements, and then I'm going to have one for mattresses, and then I'll maybe have one here for pillows. And then right underneath that one is your sub hierarchy. So kind of like a pyramid, right? Think of this as the food chain, or think about it as, you're brainstorming and you have the main category and then you have webs that go out. So here I was going ahead and having my subcategory, and then in there I had different categories within. So it could be about supplements at the very top of that category. Underneath that could be something like weight loss pills, and then another subcategory of the supplements could be in the CBD supplements. So that's what you want to look at when you're doing site structure at the very beginning, is you want to start getting your categories in order. So let me get into the share screen here and show you now. Okay, here I have the category section for one of my businesses. And if you're doing this with a blog, like many of you are, this is how you're going to do it. And if you don't, just follow along. This will also replicate anything you do. If you have a YouTube channel, you're on TikTok, even Clubhouse, Instagram, whatever that is, Facebook, then you can simulate this. So we're in the category section. As you can see, I already have mine brought up here. But what I'm showing you here to the right is, okay, I have a category for all products, back braces, books, CBD, mattresses, supplements, remedies, chemistry and math. I love chemistry, guys. If you guys know this already, I went to school and I studied chemistry, general, organic, a little bit of that. I like the sciences, and I'm into math. But what I do here is I have different ones on chronic conditions, client testimonials, cold therapy, drugs, natural remedies. The list goes on, right? You get the point. But what I'm saying is you want to have a hierarchy on your sites, and I'll show you how one of them looks like here. But to properly SEO your site so you can get the most amount of traffic that then turns into the most amount of sales, $100 per day, is you want to have a hierarchy. And that begins with listing the type of categories within your site. So you may have a general site on like supplements, but then your categories, we're talking about categories now, best CBD oil supplements, best supplements for arthritis, best weight loss supplements. And if you're in the weight loss industry, best weight loss supplements for, a certain age, best weight loss supplements for a specific weight loss plan, best weight loss supplements for by using CBD. Those are different categories within your website. And so you want to call it silo, right? We're going to go ahead and start putting all these webs from our main category. Could be supplements, could be topicals, could be gummies, could be anything, right? We're just using the example here of a health site. And so what we're doing is now we're putting all these subcategories within them. And what we're going to do is we're going to even have more subcategories under them. So best back braces, it could be best posture braces, women under age 30. It could be best back braces for arthritis sufferers. You know how the list goes on, but you want to have that hierarchy site structure in your website. That's what's most important. And that's what is going to allow the Google web crawlers to look at your website when they come and scan it and see, okay, what is this about? What is this overall site? What is the page? What is that post about? Should I index, not index it? And that can be a whole different video of its own when we get into canonical URLs, non-canonical URLs, and I don't want to do that so much in this video. But if you want help on that, please let me know in the comments, or you can reach out to me by email, anywhere else you would like. So I was thinking about something in just a second here. I don't want to shift just yet. Wanted to get into the site, but going off of the Google web crawlers, let me open this here. So going on the Google web crawlers, that's where Google's going to send those, little spiders coming to your site and scanning everything in there. They're going to understand what this page and post is about, but they also want to great and deeply look at the internal linking of your site. Internal linking, that is, okay, if we take the hierarchy example, we're going to start at the very top of this pyramid, the hierarchy. Now we look at the categories and we say, okay, we have supplements. Now we have supplements for arthritis sufferers, we have supplements for weight loss sufferers, and so forth. And then, when we take the category of supplements, we could do weight loss supplements, and then a different category subcategory underneath that is weight loss supplements for arthritis sufferers. And so then we have different categories. But then we have the link structure. The link structure is where now you're going to be able to internally link from one category to the next, one post to the next. And then that's where the web crawlers are going to come in and scan your site and say, oh, okay, this weight loss supplements for arthritis sufferers is linked to the category of weight loss. Okay, so now your category is being linked to your weight loss for arthritis sufferers post/page. And then you can even internally link from there to a different weight loss plan, right? You might not be recommending that, but it's going from one category to the next, right? You're pushing it from the very top of the supplements down to the weight loss supplements for arthritis sufferers. And then within that post, you can have another internal link for another recommendation, alternatives. And that's why I strongly recommend you have an alternative section within your post, even though that's not the number one thing you're trying to do. But you could get over that by overemphasizing your number one recommended product, okay? And so when you have these different internal links, the website crawlers are going to be starting to look at it and be like, oh, this is going from hierarchy category to subcategory hierarchy. And then it's going from sub different types of supplements. And so it's going to start scanning that. And that's how you want to start structuring it, is building really one category at a time. You may have different, you look at an e-commerce store, for example, you go, okay, this one has mattresses, has pillows, has seat cushions, everything you want it to be. But when you're doing a specific type of blogging website, especially for affiliate sites, you want to start working from one category first, and you want to start building that, and then you want to move into the next one. It's not to say that you can't write an article on a different category and start building that one, because you could publish another category while working on one main one and making sure that Google fully understands what you're doing there before you move on to the next one. So many people, they scatter, they go from one category to the next and so forth. You don't want to be doing that. Okay, so that's very important. We just talked about hierarchy at the very top, and then being able to move into those subcategories, having internal linking, external linking structure within those categories, those subcategory posts. Alternative sections are helpful. Related type posts are going to help that. And it's going to tell the web crawlers from Google, look, this is what my post pages are about, without a doubt. And you're going to really understand how that all works together yourself. Okay, you're going to start seeing the bigger picture. You're going to start seeing how your posts rank and how you're able to get more quality of traffic. Now, for example, if this were on YouTube. Now, if we're doing YouTube, then actually let me back up a little bit. Just cover the main topic. I made another video on how to create better content to get better quality of traffic. I'll link to it down below if you watch this video later on YouTube or elsewhere, maybe in the comment section. But I don't want to get into it into too depth, but the structure for SEO, you want to make sure you have a headline. You want to make sure you have the right meta description, meta title. You want to have the keywords included within your post. You want to have, that could be a whole nother topic, a whole nother day's worth of video. But, let me get into a post here. I'll bring the screen back up. So let me see if I can bring up something here. Okay. This is more of a how-to post formatted. And if you're working within WordPress and the WordPress editor, you could do it with blogs. I use Thrive themes these days, right? If you want to know more about Thrive themes, I won't leave a link. Just let me know if you want to know more about different themes, and I'll help you with that. My recommendations, where I first got started, and then how I moved into here and so forth. But if you're doing things from your editor, I can move into the WP editor here for a quick look. And you're going to have different blocks, right? You can have different blocks. I won't get into the whole block thing here. But what you want to start to do is think about the attractive headline. Start thinking about how to inject your keyword into the post for site structure. I like to include it between the first and 3 paragraphs. Doesn't exactly have to be there, but get used to doing that. Have your keyword within the first of 3 paragraphs of your blog posts. And then you want to just flow through your content. And I won't talk about that here. It will be in the other video, like I said, how to create better content. I've structured it in there, how to have your headline, how to have a persuasive headline, how to have persuasive copy, where to include different call to action buttons, the SCARF formula, the framework for that. And that'll give you more of a site SEO structure for it. And, if you're using something like Yoast SEO, your results might be different. I'm just using SEO, a different SEO plugin. Okay, and if you're using Yoast SEO, it'll give you recommendations. But All-in-One SEO is now doing that as well. So you can see a high score of 95 out of 100. That just keeps you on track to see, okay, what is my score? What could it be? How could it get better? If we can click here, we'll get something here that shows us readability. And it'll show you on the left side here where I'm kind of moving around. But for this one, it was created earlier. So I'm going to click here and it'll show me basic SEO, all good. Title readability can be better. So, if I click here, it'll give me some recommendations, images, videos, in content, paragraphs in length, sentences length, passive transition words. And you want to, reduce this. It'll give you a percentage here, how well or how bad you're doing on them. But, don't worry so much about this. When you get your SEO routine going and you know what's working for you, you might see a score here that's a little less than what you want. Get some of the feedback here if you wish, but understand that you're just going to be doing as fine as the other posts. Just follow a certain structure. This is just there to guide you. It's not there to knock you down 100%. It's just there to show you, what type of things here. 25.3% of the sentences contain more than 20 words, which is more than the recommended maximum of 25%. Try to shorten these sentences. Take a look. Images, video, and the content, check. If you don't have that, it'll show you paragraphs length, good. Some are better than others. And then you can kind of base that off your site's SEO structure and what you're trying to build. Don't forget the meta description. As I said earlier, the post title, snippets, you can see how that looks. You're going to see more down here. Page analysis, again, as we looked at. Content length and all that is in there. So site SEO will have all that. It won't have all this. I added an extra plugin for all this JavaScript stuff. But if you want to fasten the process and make your site SEO speed fast, you want to make it work for you very quickly, then use something like, I recommend using different cache plugins. Unless you have a host that does it for you, you don't likely need a plugin for it, but something like Cache plugin, WP Total Cache, there's so many of them. I use WP Rocket for one of my websites. I'll show you that in a moment, but I want to go into the actual website and show you some of the structure that I wanted to get into. So you can see the navigation. It begins with having a very clear navigation, and that's going to lead into the categories. So bar none, right? We're planning it in the beginning. We're mind mapping as we go, and we're seeing, okay, what categories do we want? What does our bubbles look like from one post to the next? And we're going to say here, we have a navigation. We have reviews, right? We have a category of reviews, all products. Right, if I clicked on all products here, then we're going to have different categories: best kitchen tools, joint pain relief creams, seat cushions, and then we click those, and then it goes into it can go into a whole different category for different supplements, and then within those categories of supplements, then there are posts. Click on those posts, go read that content, internal link to other similar different categories, and that's what Google's going to want to read and digest. Getting started, reviews, blog, right? All these different categories that we have within categories, subcategories. I'll try to leave a list out here for you so you can see all this, but you're seeing how that works. Now, let me go into, I can make a whole different video for this, and I likely will sometime soon. But to have your site SEO structured accordingly, where you don't have to deal with any of the JavaScript, any kind of coding and rendering, without being this techy person. If you don't want to spend time doing that, save yourself time, energy, then get cache plugins. One of my favorite ones being WP Rocket. Now more than ever, if you haven't seen me, I released this in the group. This is where you're watching it from. You've likely seen that I had Google Core Web Vitals to deal with, and recommendations given were to go into the JavaScript rendering, use some coding, take some things off, and I could have done it, but I didn't want to spend my time on that. It was more complicated, especially for people who don't want to spend the time doing that. I recommend getting one of the best plugins out there. That is WP Rocket. So if you're struggling with Web Core Vitals, that's an introduction. I don't want to get into this, but WP Rocket is something that I recommend that's going to go ahead and enhance your Core Web Vitals, your rendering with JavaScript, code issues, things like that. It's going to substantially decrease it, but I won't go into that too much into this video. Anyways, so I want to end this with saying that whether it is a blog, whether it is a YouTube channel, whether it is a blog, YouTube, you want to silo that. So I could have used another example here let me get into kind of like the YouTube side of things. So with YouTube, more or less, it's like you have different playlists. So in your playlists, you're going to go in there and you're going to put different videos, right? And within that video, there will be another video. It can be a cold video. And I've talked about how playlists to supplements for weight loss, and then it can be another subcategory. But the video could be weight loss in general, and then it can be click the video down below where you're going to see how to learn how to use supplements for weight loss if you're an arthritis sufferer. So now you take them into another subcategory, and that's how you play off of different playlists. Okay, so let me go into this. Might not be so much set up into this one, but see how you have different playlists. Let me go back here. Let me show you. And thanks for sticking with me, by the way. I really do appreciate your time. So if we go underneath playlists in YouTube, then, I have some that are categorized here. I'm going to keep adding more, but that is like the equivalent of having your blog. You have the category, it's like the navigation. Think about it as the navigation. People come to your website, they see a navigation bar, they come to your YouTube channel, whatever way they did, they want to see a different playlist. Especially when you're helping out more people, you're gonna want to just send them to a playlist, right? And then what happens is you have a video for a certain thing in the description, there might be a related video on it. They click there, they can go and watch that. And that's how you're doing it. You can send them into your different blog posts and go from there on out. Now, I want to spend this next minute with you just talking about how to get quality of traffic without a blog, okay? So one thing you can do now that we're on YouTube is do YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts are those about 1 minute video that gets a lot of attention. That is really huge right now, guys. Get into YouTube Shorts. I'll have some video resources for you and how I learned how to do that. But what it does is it's about a minute video. You can even shoot it with your phone. And what happens is then you upload it to YouTube with the hashtag short, optimize it the way it needs to be. And then that can get attraction. You can link to your actual video of that, right? If you have an actual video that is in length, then you can make a quick YouTube short out of it, or you can go and design one, right? Design a YouTube short with editing software and then label it as a YouTube short video, which I'll give you resources on that. And then that siphons that traffic to your actual video. They actually watch it. And whatever type of video it is, they'll take a certain action on it. So when you create YouTube Shorts and be consistent at it, if you're using YouTube as one of your main channels, then even if you're not, then you can use these YouTube Short videos to siphon traffic into your main videos or from YouTube Shorts into other places. And that's how it works. TikTok. You go to TikTok, you create videos, you send them into your YouTube channel, you see them videos through there. There are so many different formats of doing this. Another way of doing it, you take them from a TikTok video into a YouTube short into a YouTube video, and then that's where the magic happens. There are just so many different silos, so many different ways to move traffic from different channels. So that's everything that I want to get into in this video without going too depth. But again, if you're using video, TikTok, siphon people from there into your YouTube channel, YouTube Shorts, into your actual YouTube videos, different products and services, videos, back to TikTok and forth, experimenting with that, seeing how it works for your niche. Okay, so that's everything in this video that I wanted to go over. Hopefully you learned how to siphon traffic from categories within a blog website, whether it's a blog or just a standalone website, affiliate sites, main category, hierarchy, subcategories, even more subcategories, internal linking within those posts, external linking, web crawlers coming in, seeing it, ranking it for what it is, giving it more authority, giving it more juice. And the more consistent you are at that, the more you repetitively, that's why I recommend always having an alternative section. That is a tactic. It's a hack for you to kind of remember, like when you're writing posts, no, this is my alternative, and it links to those higher hierarchy posts, the ones that are getting the most traffic. And you're going to start seeing a flood, like Noah's Ark flood coming in, right? When you see that ocean rising, the tide coming in, water pushing it closer to the sand, to the surface, and it keeps going and over in waves, that's what's going to happen. It's frequency, building, more frequency, boom, boom, boom. The more you do it, and then what happens? Frequency goes down, but what happens? Wavelength comes up. Right now you have higher amplitudes, less amps, higher amplitudes. And so it's occurring less frequently, but it might be giving you higher waves, okay? And so that's what you want to do. You want to have those fraction points. Now, that's everything from me. Hopefully you learned a great deal from this. Let me know down below if you need any help. Silo structure, I'll try to have some templates here for you. Everything that I've covered here today, if it's not here right away, look out for it. But yeah, I just want to emphasize that site structure is very important. If you neglect that, if you try to do it at the very end, it can work just okay, but have it from the beginning so you don't have to worry about it later on. And you're going to start seeing those remarkable results coming in. And you're going to be so thankful that you did it in the beginning, that you did not waste time. and that you really got it down underway. The better traffic, shorts, siphoning traffic, and that's it. Okay? Thank you for being here. Really do appreciate your time. I know how important it is. I know I get tired from doing a video. I told you I'm more of the person who likes to get on the blog side of things, but I'm here for you when you need me. I'm glad you were here again. Thank you.